Hello, welcome to BARTV interview. Today we have Dr. Hao Wang, the candidate for Cambridge City Council here to share his idea and experience. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for working with me and having me.
So, Doctor, would you please first introduce yourself to your supporters and those who do not know you really well today?
Sure. My name's Hao. Just remember it's Hao for Cambridge. And my campaign website is howforcambridge.com. I have been living in Cambridge since early 90s, so it's over 30 years, and I own my house here for over 25 years. I lived in both East Cambridge and West Cambridge. In the past 30 plus years, I have been working in the public sector, not-for-profit. I myself am the product of Cambridge. I earned my PhD from MIT in East Cambridge, and I earned my master in public administration in Harvard University in West Cambridge. I always wanted to give back to the city I call home and to the city that made me who I am today. So that is why I'm running, and I hope can do some things for my neighbors and for Cambridge residents and hopefully make our city better.
So it seems you have a really rich experience, but there seems to be no strong relation between your majors and your works, and there's also no strong connections between your works, the jobs you did. So how do you think this experience strengthened your confidence to run for the city council?
Sure. I think, my major did span a big, wide spectrum. So I'm a physicist who is really physics. There's a famous saying that it doesn't matter what work you do, it's the method you learned when you were young. So a specific body of knowledge doesn't have to be exactly what you learned with. But the structural method, the scientific way of thinking things and objectivity benefit me from the education to the career all the time. So it didn't matter that I went to public service or worked in the private sector or work for the not-for-profit. When there's a challenge, there's physicist mindsets to apply to.
What's your priorities if you are elected?
Sure. I would like to highlight 3 or 4 things here during our conversation, but I recommend our colleagues and friends on the other side of the lens to visit my campaign website, which is howforcambridge.com, which will offer more detail. The first and foremost is I would like to invite my fellow residents and my fellow councilors, if I'm elected, to collectively define what a livable city Cambridge should be for the next 20 to 50 years. And then, to be a livable city, what characteristic Cambridge can embrace and we should strengthen. And Cambridge foremost needs to be an inclusive city because we have very innovative industry, especially pharmaceutical industry. We have 2 greatest schools in the world in MIT and Harvard. We also have residents that live here for generations. I lived here for 30 years, but I have my neighbors who lived here for 40 and 50 or multiple generations. We want everybody who live here to remain here, to stay here happily. And we also wanted to have lower and smaller carbon footprint, which clean energy Cambridge is famous for, and I like to help Cambridge to get even better. And lastly, I mentioned here is I want my City of Cambridge government to be more competent, to be transparent, and to be more efficient.
So there are always many issues in the city. So why do you figure out these issues to be the priorities, and Did you have any research on them? Or?
Yes, I have. I live here, like I said earlier, I lived here for 30 years. And I'm a homeowner for 25 years, and usually I follow all these contemporary topics such as the Affordable Housing Initiative, Clean Energy Initiative, Biker Safety Initiative, all the time, and even the reporting of energy usage for bigger and business buildings. I've been closely following, even though I have remained quiet for a long time. So these issues are close to my heart and close to my home. It's actually at my home. So I'd like to I hear different opinions. I saw different groups of people advocating for different things. But fundamentally, if we peel the onion, the things can usually boiling down what kind of Cambridge we want. And to boil down to how we can be more inclusive than before, how we can comprehend the other side or the other sides. So that's why these issues are important to me. And I believe this issue, once we get to the bottom of it, we can have more concerted effort and more consensus.
And you have some experience in government and for nonprofit. So how do you think this experience give you understanding of the duties and the works you're gonna do in City Council?
Sure. I worked for, my career, like my education, is relatively diverse. I worked for public service, actually New York State government, for about 8 years. I earned my degree from Kennedy School for Public Administration because I am very, very interested in how our society should be run and how the democracy work. So I believe my public service can contribute to the future success as a Cambridge City Councilor. And besides, I worked for a private industry before. I worked for Accenture. I worked for Fallon Health. I believe all these experience made me a business-friendliness proponent. I believe the thriving society in Cambridge today owe a lot to the thriving business in Cambridge, and we need to make Cambridge more friendly to more business in the future. And I also work for not-for-profit. Not-for-profit, many contemporary issues are close to our heart. For example, how do we house unhomed or homeless folks? And how do we advocate for more non-congregate housing or shelters solution? These are things that I used to do in Manhattan, New York. So I believe the collection of not-for-profit experience, public service, and the private industry, plus I also worked for SUNY before. I know higher education. I know Cambridge residents and friends are very, very interested in better education system for our kids. I can contribute that too. So I believe I've been all around the world, collected the tools and mindsets and experience. Now it's time for me to apply that to the issues and points at hand.
In specific, do you have any methodologies or structured thinking that can help you prepare better for the work in City Council? It's really complex.
Yes, I do. For different topics, we might apply different methods. I just raised 2 examples for you today. In terms of envisioning of Cambridge and advocate for long-term planning and consensus-based vision, we have exactly a lot of the tools that I used to consult my clients with. We actually have a structured thinking. We like to apply those to incorporate additional inputs, actually profound and widespread inputs from the residents and also from other city councilors. Then, for the issues related to any policies, our method is we need to study the impact of the policy on the Cambridge City residents first before we apply it. And whenever possible, if a policy can be rolled out for experiments first in a smaller scales, we like to do that before we roll it out and impact everybody else. So these are things I felt, it's a method that private industry use all the time, and many methods can benefit us in the future discussion and resolutions.
Have you ever researched the cases of other cities about their advantages, disadvantages, operation history, and do you think that inspire you of your future working?
Learning from other cities can always be a good guidance for Cambridge. But first and foremost, Cambridge is unique. Cambridge, I believe I can speak on behalf of many folks here. Cambridge doesn't want to be Manhattan or New York. Cambridge doesn't want to be Hong Kong. I believe Cambridge has its unique culture and historical roots we need to always strengthen and go back to. And we need to make Cambridge really unique and successful on its own. And of course, over the years, I've learned many mistakes that other cities made. For example, in terms of how to better, better support affordable housing. Some policies are successful. Some policies are successful in Singapore, but not successful in New York, vice versa. These are potentially reference and benchmark me and our team in the future can, take it as a reference, but not as a blueprint for the city that is unique in its own right.
Have you ever solved any problems that make you really proud and you think that might help your future work?
Yes, I am very proud of the first project we did in Massachusetts after I went to these two great schools. Is that when I was with Fallon Community Health Plan, now it's known as Fallon Health, we actually collaborated with UMass Memorial Hospital Systems. We collaborated with Fallon Clinic, which is the outpatient facilities. We put the data together. Data means about our patient together, and we share at the point of care. We created the nation's one of the first health information exchange. Back then it's called Regional Health Information Organization. I'm very proud because that's a cross-boundary collaboration of multiple Massachusetts or Boston-based organizations to work together for the sake of the safety of our citizens here and for the quality of healthcare and for the operation efficiency. We deliver the data, otherwise will be isolated in different organizations, not available for point of care. We deliver the data to the point of care. Nowadays, it's very important, that experience, because since I returned to Cambridge full-time, I noticed that, over the last couple of months, I learned that at least 5 medical doctors I know are leaving Cambridge area for good. I don't know why yet. Some of them I believe it's attributed to the stress due to the pandemic and stress due to the work. But we need to apply new technology and new accommodations for these bright doctors to stay in Cambridge and stay in Boston area. So I'm very proud of that first health information exchange we made in this region, which benefited me a lot in the future project I did. I did many projects. I remember I was doing the similar things for Haidian district in Beijing to connect all their hospitals and their clinics, information sharing put together. When I was with Accenture, Haidian is a lot like Cambridge. It has the the two greatest schools in that region, Beijing University and Tsinghua University, is similar to Harvard and MIT. It's also very vibrant. But all can trace back to the route that I created the HIE in Massachusetts.
Cambridge is a city with talents and especially with many doctors. So do you have any plans to maintain these doctors?
Sure. I just mentioned that I heard 5 doctors are leaving, probably due to stress, probably due to other reasons, but the more important thing is we as City Council need to find out why. If not medical doctors, well, we need to see any other brain drain from City of Cambridge. One thing I did, assuming doctors leaving is because it's too stressful to work here. One thing I did in the past could help is using artificial intelligence. I know I don't want to be too techy here, but artificial intelligence, Cambridge has very good companies such as Pass AI, such as Crystal Pi. Their solution is aimed to reduce the stress of the medical doctors during their work. I'm sure due to the pandemic and due to the current overloading of the work to our medical staff, we need to find out why. Like I said, most importantly is to find out why they're leaving. 2 is what can we do to support them. We could leverage everything from policy to artificial intelligence.
How do you define inclusion, and do you have any specific plans for that?
Sure. Cambridge is a very dynamic city. I believe last census shows that we have over 20% are international background and came in here to live and work in Cambridge. And we should embrace all. Inclusion means embracing all, right? So regardless of our origins, regardless of our status today. And importantly, it's just as important to embrace all of our residents who lived here for generations and for 30, 40, and 50 years. Their needs to be included in all of our policy discussion. Their input should be solicited, and their input should be carefully considered in all of our policy analysis. And inclusion also means that we need to, on one hand, we demand our city workers to be more efficient, to less bureaucratic, to be faster servicing all of us. But on the other hand, we should include them, all of our city employees who worked very hard day to night to support this Cambridge, to operate this Cambridge. We need to find out tools and convenience and support for them to do a better job, do a less stressful job, hopefully, as well. So inclusion means every opinion should be counted, and inclusion also means every person in the city, regardless if you're a city employee, a medical doctor, or a student, or resident, needs to be treated equally and togetherly.
And on the other hand, have you ever encountered with the criticism that perhaps you made a bad decision and published some bad policies, have bad influence? Have you ever dealt with that news?
Plenty. I think we learn from our mistakes. I can't promise I will not make mistakes once I'm elected. But I do promise is that if I make a mistake, I will have the resolve and the spirit to correct it. Yes, in the past, I have some idealistic policy goals that rolled out too fast, that impacted or rubbed our constituents in the wrong way. And I wish I had more time and more patience to hear from more people and synthesize and emphasize with more different points of view before we roll out a particular policy. So that is also my wish, is that in the future I'd like to advocate our constituents, put our ideal aside and listen to each other first and study the impact of policy first before we roll it out to have a full impact on the whole city.
There are two world-class universities in Cambridge, and Cambridge is also a city with many talents. So how would you make the most use of this advantage? I mean, the educational resources and the talents.
Sure. Our city has the greatest school in the world. We have the talents which attracted a lot of businesses to Cambridge. In turn, these businesses paid more taxes. Our Cambridge residential tax is lower than many other cities in the world, actually much lower than New York. And I want that to stay that way. Because of the universities and talents, we attracted so many startups, so many pharmaceutical companies to our city. So I would like to make to help Cambridge keep that way. So we need to support our universities, we need to support our businesses, and in addition to those innovative businesses, we need to support our mom and pop shops. After I full-time returned to Cambridge, I realized many stores I used to see in Howard Square has left Cambridge for good. I just want to know why. Because I heard the Vietnamese pho restaurant in Howard Square is leaving the city by the end of this year. And I want to study why. I want them to be here because that's part of the Cambridge. I think to be a livable city, we should be able to retain all these valuable, genuine local business in our city, and along with the wonderful university we have. So we have to make our Cambridge city business friendly, and we have to add the innovation elements into the livable city definition for Cambridge. And we need to keep it that way. We can't push them out, and we can't see medical doctors are leaving our city.
At last, do you have any other words for our audience and for the residents here?
Sure. I think vote for me in the first choice. And if you don't know me yet, reach out to me through my campaign website, which is howforcambridge.com. You can send me email. We can schedule, sessions to discuss. I hope once you know me more, you vote for me. Not only vote for me, but vote for me as the first choice for your city council. Even if you don't want to vote for me as your first choice, and don't vote for my for my opponent twice. You vote for me second and third choice, they all work. But more importantly is we need to work together. And I want to have listening ears for you. And please share with me what I don't understand yet and what's on top of your mind.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining our interview, and thank you our audience. Thank you for watching our interview. See you next time.